Hey, what is up guys? GuitarRock here, welcome back to another Zenless on Zero video. If you guys are not aware, Miyabi is coming this week and we got a bunch of things to check out. Hopefully give you guys a better perspective of Miyabi as a whole, right? So let's talk a little bit more about this, right? So because I'm going to jump into a couple of things. There is a couple of footage of early access being released. So that's going to be one good thing. So we can basically check out her kit. And big shout out to a bunch of players who share this, you know. So let's look at certain things, right, that I've screenshotted so far. This is going to give you guys an idea of Miyabi's capabilities. So first things first, I want you guys to pay very close attention to the character skill kit of how you want to build the team, right? Ideally, this is going to be you know, you can look at the character. Each of them are going to have the passive, or what do you call it, core skill, core passive, or additional ability. So you can see right here, alright. So let me reduce the music a little bit. So this particular first one, very quick, you know, integration with the team. Another character in your squad is support or shares the same faction. Then Miyabi is gonna get increased by 60% when any squad member triggers disorder. Miyabi obtains 2 points of Fallen Frost and basic attack. Shimotsuki during the next Shimotsuki stance, and this will ignore 30% of target's ice resistance. Now, here's the truth, right? Disorder is going to be something that's very difficult to do, but because you're gonna build Anomaly all the way, right, in the circle. But if you are this character right here, which is Tsukishiro Yanagi, you have Disorder pretty much built into your kit, right? Because she has this particular special Anomaly, alright, that will trigger disorder effect called Polarity Disorder, and this one doesn't remove the it doesn't remove the current anomaly. You can see Polarity Disorder will not remove the target's anomaly, so you can still build it all the way. So Yanagi is going to be one of the better characters to be able to do this alongside with Miyabi. So if you want to build a team, now obviously she is going to be the best one, right? So you have Yanagi, Miyabi, and then maybe you have a Caesar, or maybe like you have like a Sokaku or something else. But the truth is, it's not required, right? You could probably can still get away with no Yanagi. I'm pretty sure you can. There's going to be plenty of multitudes of different teams that you can build alongside with that. But overall, the concept of Miyabi is going to be simple and very straightforward. If you guys are not aware already, she's all about stacking up this thing called the Frostburn or Frostfire, right? And then there's the circle that you gotta fill up. Alright, she is going to be able to do massive attack on her basic attack. And from what I've heard, her basic attack will do up to 4,000%. Alright, again, this is based upon the early access server numbers, right? But 4,000% is incredible. It's insane. It's a lot of damage for sure. Alright, so for context, alright, if you guys are not aware how much is the 4,000%, so let me briefly show you guys. Let me pause this for a little bit. For a lot of characters, their ultimate skill is going to be about 2,000%. But Miyabi is going to be able to do 4,000% in her basic attack. Alright, so that's going to be something to consider. Alright. So again, the idea here is, alright, she is going to be a main DPS. So she is going to basically take the most screen time. Alright, you want her to consistently be there. And probably she's going to be like very, very strong and probably the most meta character, power creeping everyone else. Good thing is her banner will be available for 40 days throughout the entire version. So you will be able to pull for her. I think if you know, if you have a bunch of currency saved up, I don't think it's going to be a big problem. Now, the one that you gotta worry about is if you're trying to pull multiple copies of her, that's going to be something to consider, right? So now you can see this is going to be one of the early access that I found. Big shout out to Hero, Yusha, if you guys want to check out this particular one. So you can see this is how much damage Miyabi can do, as you can see with her ultimate, with her skill, and of course with her whole attack right there. Alright, a bunch of disorder right there, right? So as you can see, one thing that you gotta take note of, Miyabi will have this thing, you guys can see on the top left, this is going to be the ice that you have to build, right? Apparently Disorder helps build this thing, and once you can pretty much unleash this by holding the basic attack. So this is the one that does a lot of damage. So you can see literally consume 1, 2, 3, 6 of that, right? And that is going to, I think consuming all 6 of it is the one that will give you 4,000%, but you can choose to consume 1 or 2 points as well. That's going to do a little bit less, right? But yeah, she's going to have that built into her kit. So it's all about how fast you can charge that ball up, or I think there's a term for it, the mechanic up. You can see, right? So that's going to be something to consider. Now let's have a look at her main point in her kit, which is going to be this one. Now I know this is like a big essay, there's a lot of words here, but bear with me a little bit because this is going to be very important if you guys are thinking on how you want to build her right now. So she is going to do this thing called frost damage, which is different than ice, alright? So different, it's a little bit different, she's frost burn or something, right? She applies ice fire, alright? Accumulating frost anomaly build up against targets with ice fire. So she's going to apply this, increases frost anomaly build up rate by 100% of Miyabi's crit rate up to a maximum of 80%. So what does this mean? This means that building her with crit rate is going to be important so that she can build more of this frost anomaly build up. So it goes up to 80%, okay? So very, very important. Again, ideally, building crit rate is going to be quite difficult, but it is going to be something that you ideally want to do for her because it's going to stack more of this build up, right? So as she accumulates frost anomaly build up, it has its own independent attribute anomaly. So this is going to be a separate thing, alright? It doesn't affect your freeze. If you want to stack with another ice anomaly, you can, right? So freeze, shatter, frostbite can react with other attribute anomalies, including ice attribute anomaly to trigger disorder. Very, very cool. Alright, so when Hoshimi Miyabi applies Frostbite to enemies with Ice Fire, it will consume Ice Fire to trigger Frost Burn, dealing Frost damage equal to 1500%, okay, causing the targets to enter the Frost Burn state. All squad members accumulate 20% more Anomaly build up against enemies under the Frost Burn state. So very, very good if you pair Miyabi with another Anomaly character, because you get 20% Anomaly build up if the enemy has this. Pretty much like she's like a debuffer of her own if you think about it, right? She can sort of debuff that. But she cannot reapply Ice Fire to these enemies. So keep that in mind. When the state ends, Frostbite expires. While this state remains active, triggering another attribute anomaly will override Frostbite and remove Frostburn. So overall, she's going to be pretty cool in that sense. She's probably going to be a very, very strong character. Now, it seems like she's very fluid, and it seems like she's going to play very similar to Jendo in that sense that she can dodge very fast. You might not need to worry about her survivability. Now, her best teammate, probably like I mentioned, Yanagi, and maybe if you want to Sokaku, or you can put Lighter as well if you want to build, you are trying to build more damage. That's going to be something to consider. But I feel like everything for her is going to be very important, including her ultimate, her skill, and a bunch of other things. So in terms of the build, obviously you want to go with this particular thing. Since Miyabi needs crit rate, alright, and crit rate is going to be important for her, you still want to build Anomaly probably, but crit rate is, I strongly believe crit rate, Anomaly, and maybe attack percent as well, because in this kit right here, there's something that scales off attack percent, which is this frost damage right here, right? 1500% of Hoshimi Miyabi's attack. So she's probably going to need, maybe Anomaly proficiency might not be as important as her for her compared to crit rate, crit damage, and attack. So she's going to go back to that standard DPS build, which Elenjo and Zuyan sort of need compared to other Anomaly characters, right? Because if you look at the multiplier on her skill, it seems to be either she needs crit or scales off attack. So those are going to be very, very important. And this one is going to be very good. Anomaly Mastery exceeds equal to 115 points. Equipos crit damage increased by 30%. Okay, so she's going to get crit damage 30%, crit damage 16% here, 46% from this particular 4-piece alone. Any squad member applies freeze or triggers the shatter effect on enemy. Equipos crit rate increased by 12%. So this is going to be one of the better ones. Now, since she is going to need crit rate, you probably want to go for 4-piece branch and blade, and maybe go for 2-piece of what's the one that gives crit rate? I forgot the name. It's not this one. It's, give me a moment. I think it's this one, right? Yeah, Woodpecker Electro. So it's been so long since I farmed this, man. I haven't farmed this particular one for a long time. So 2-piece Woodpecker Electro makes sense, right? Because you get 8% crit rate right there. And then 4-piece of Branch and Blade is probably going to be the case. Obviously, haven't pre-farmed her because I can't pre-farm this particular one. But this is going to be in the new version. So just waiting for the new version. Gonna dump a bunch of, stamina, a bunch of battery into these stages. and hope for the best, you know. That's going to be something to consider. So yeah, Miyabi is going to be a very strong character. I am very, very excited for her. I feel like she's probably going to be an insane character. Again, need more time to see what we can expect. Alright, test her. Will she outclass Jane though? Will she outclass? Right now, if you ask me who's the strongest character in Zenless on Zero, I feel like Jane Doe is, right? But will she actually be stronger than her? That's something that I'm curious to find out. Probably she will, right? She's a Void Hunter after all. So that's gonna be it for this video. I'll stay tuned. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the upcoming version. Alright, that's gonna come in like one day, depending on when you guys watch this. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Have a nice day. Goodbye.